Good morning. We got a cat joining us in the background here. Good morning, everybody, or at least it's morning for me. Thank you for clicking on today's video. Today, we're going to do a similar video. I figured I want to keep this a recurring probably every other weeks of the highest win rates running on Udyr. If you guys don't know, there's a website called coachlist.gg. It is incredible. What it will do is it will actually break down by items, the win rate, and it will also go through another important factor, which is essentially your win probability added, meaning at point of purchase, when you build the item, does it accelerate or decelerate you? You'll see these top numbers. You see this 3.63 on Sterix. That means theoretically building a Sterix gauge second on Aatrox accelerates your lead by 3.63%, right? Of course, the title of today's video is not about Aatrox, it's about Udyr. So we're going to go through these together. As you might have guessed, the King Kong Phoenix build, if you are doing R-Max Udyr, we are still in a lolWillie's meta. Here's another thing that's kind of fascinating about this patch. Udyr's pick rate and ban rate have also gone down, meaning you should get Udyr in more often in your games. In addition, you'll see the total numbers of games were pretty recent in this patch, but this is still pretty low. I mean, I remember I was watching it 3 patches ago, and there was like 10,000 samples a day of Udyr players in the US, right? Nowadays, it's slowing down quite a bit. We've got 7,000 over 4 days. And as we can see, there's actually some very interesting changes to the tank meta. We're still in a tank meta. If you guys are wondering, we're still very much building tank second. If you want to do the most popular, highest win rate build on Udyr, it's still very much tank. Few interesting developments, though. Frozen Heart, even though it's a small sample size, has been performing extremely well this patch. I would argue it's because there are a lot of lethal tempo champions that are coming back. If you don't know, they've been adding a lot of lethal tempo champs into or buffing a lot of lethal tempo. In addition, a lot of the items that lethal tempo works well with have been changed or altered. We're seeing a lot of Yone. We're seeing a lot of, I've seen some Xin Zhao with lethal tempo. I've seen quite a bit of champions, especially in the top lane, taking lethal tempo as well. Frozen Heart, if you do not know, is the perfect counter to attack speed. So I have encouraged you guys to build Unending Despair. As we can see, Unending Despair is still probably your highest win rates 2-item combo. That being said, if you are against the right team comp, which is what this top coefficient shows, essentially, yes, in general, you have a 52% win rate by going Frozen Heart second and a 55% win rate by going Unending Despair second. But into the team comps that it's right into, Frozen Heart is actually accelerating you more than the team comps where Unending Despair is probably just Unending Despair into. Another thing I want to shout out, Thornmail is actually now outperforming the magic resist components, meaning if you can, you should be flexing into Frozen Heart, Unending Despair, or Thornmail, second item. We have the data. It's literally right here. All of these are 51% win rate combos or above, 55 on Unending, 52 on Frozen, and all of them accelerate you. It seems like building magic resist items second actually decelerate you. Same with Deadman's, by the way. Deadman's, even though it's a 55% win rate combo, it actually decelerates you and slows down your lead because, in my opinion, the other tank items are just better now. So those are the interesting developments on the tank front. We're essentially in a Frozen Heart, and it makes sense why, you know, we see Force of Nature now. If you go Frozen Heart, one of the best combos in the game is Force of Nature. Reason being, Force of Nature gives you movement speed that you didn't get from Deadman's, right? We built Frozen Heart, not Deadman, so we're kind of slower. Force of Nature works really well in conjunction because it gives you a ton of stacking magic resist. And frankly, Frozen Heart plus Force of Nature are 2 bully items in terms of how effective they are at making you into the type of resistance they are designed for. So that's the tank build. Now let's talk about Tiger builds. Tiger builds, Triforce and a Blade of the Ruined King has actually come down by 5% on win rate. I encouraged people in my Udyr guide to build this combo if you didn't like the experimental hexplate combo. What we can see is not only did the win rate on Triforce come down, we're only at a 50%, but the 2-item combo is only 53% win rate. It decelerates you, and frankly, at 3 items, you're not even squeaking 60%. On 3 items with the Unending Despair, you still have a 60% win rate combo with Spirit Visage third, meaning tank literally is just going to win you more games just by building tank if you're going Triforce builds, at least according to this website. There are other items you can build second, but frankly, Black Cleaver is the only item that I build after Triforce, just because Triforce already has so much damage on it. I would be I would not be surprised to see similar results, meaning the win rate has come down and it's not actually as effective as people may think. Stridebreaker has actually gotten better this patch. If you guys like building Stridebreaker and QMax Udyr, small sample size, but frankly, last patch, if we go back a couple patches, you'll see that Stridebreaker actually was in the gutter for performance. 49% win rate and decelerated you by like, I don't know, 2% or something. Right now, Stridebreaker has a 53% win rate, and in terms of its impact on acceleration or deceleration, it's kind of negligible at 0.08%. So meaning this is a good, solid first item that, depending on how the game goes, it will allow you to flex into other builds. We can see here, just by having a Triforce second after Stridebreaker, this is an old school combo. A lot of people used to do this before patch 14.19. You have a higher win rate building Triforce second than you do first, right? And even your second item with Blade is still not a higher win rate. Let's talk about my favorite item, Experimental Hexplate. Let's talk about one thing that we've known for a long time, and this website certainly helps you show it. Experimental Hexplate decelerates you. I've talked about it on stream. I talk about it in my Tiger Guides. You are not strong at Experimental Hexplate. You use it as a tempo item to get around the map and hopefully pick up a free kill, hopefully get a lead over the enemy jungle, and then you finish Spear of Shojin. At this point, you're still not, how do I put it? You're still not strong, but you're incredibly capable, okay? You've got a 55% win rate from the point. As soon as you finish Shojin, you've got a 55% win rate forward. Once we get more data, you'll see at third item onwards, you have a 60% win rate. We'll go back a patch just to put my money where my mouth is. This build that I encourage people to do, the Hexplate and a Shojin, it still is extremely strong. You still have 56, 59% win rates. If you go Deadman's or Death Dance third, you can also go Unending Despair. You can also just go straight tank like we talked about on Phoenix. But getting these two items are incredibly good. Even last patch, you can see they kind of the same story. Don't really accelerate you. And then once you get into three items, you have an incredibly high chance of winning the game just because of how fluid the build is and how incredibly diverse you are with all the movement speed. Final thing I'm going to talk about here is actually AP Udyr. My AP Udyr enthusiasts out there, we don't have enough data yet, but I'm going to take a look at last patch's data just to give you a little bit of a reference point. A lot of people, myself included, were building Storm Surge. It's kind of a pocket pick. I think truly your best bet right now, if you're playing full AP Udyr, is first back, you need 1450 gold. Why? Because we need Sork Boots and Dark Seal, okay? You're going to be rushing tier 2 boots. The reason we're doing this is we're not power farming. We're trying to get a kill or two. Once you get a kill or two, then you go back to base and you get an Aether Wisp, and then you upgrade the Aether Wisp into Storm Surge. I think Sork Boots plus Storm Surge is still your strongest combo. First item. Second item on full AP Udyr, I am either building Malignants, Zonias, or some sort of utility item. If I am behind, I might even put a tank item in, but I am actually building utility right now. I've been having a very hard time ending games as full AP Udyr or getting a lead fast enough. So I think utility second item is your best bet, and then third item, Death Cap. Obviously, we're going to go ahead and put the Death Cap on third item pretty much every single game. And then fourth and fifth, you're probably going to want a Shadow Flame and or a Void Staff. That's usually the full build. Sork Boots plus or Storm Surge plus Shadow Flame gets you 47 Magic Pen. Void Staff gives you 40% flat Magic Pen. Death Cap, of course, gives you the giant damage amp, and then your second item will be a utility or a tank item of preference. I've actually been building Banshees. I've been building, Zonias quite a bit, Malignants quite a bit. I've been building Cosmic Drive, actually. If I want more health, I build Liandry's actually into tank team comps because I look at it this way. Liandry's gives you 300 health. So if you are against a lot of tanky champions, Liandry's is your best second item on a Storm Surge build. You just have a lot of options, but I think that's the best way to do it. I don't have enough data because there's not enough AP Udyr players out there. Just nobody plays it. Otherwise, I would literally just go down same way we did with the other two play styles. But there's your update. Tank Udyr, I would say we are very much in a Liandry's into armor item, with Frozen Heart being the best into lethal tempo comps, Unending Despair still being your number 2, and Thornmail being your number 3. Then we're going to pick up some sort of magic resist component, either Canic, Rooker, and Abyssal Mask, or Spirit Visage third item. That's going to be your tank build right now. In terms of Tiger Udyr players, I would actually say Stridebreaker and Experimental Hexplate are outperforming Triforce right now, and we have the data to support it. I certainly have felt that, so I would encourage you guys to build these items first instead of Triforce. You can always put Triforce in second or third item. If you like Triforce, just build it second or third. But first item, it is just not enough of an accelerant to justify purchasing or spending 3,300 gold on. And finally, hexplate is still a really good build. Hexplate and Shojin still works very well on Tiger. Just make sure to get to your 3 items, okay? Don't run around the map thinking you're Mike Tyson when you're not, okay? You got to get to 3 items. And then full AP Udyr, Storm Surge into Utility, into Death Cap, into either Void Staff or Shadow Flame, depending on how much magic resist they build. Build the other after that, and you're done. It's a very easy build, very strong, and I would say I would love to see the data. I personally am going to go ahead and say it, though. I have not been winning on full AP Udyr. I mean, I'm a 50% win rate Andy. Like, if you want a 50% win rate, go for it. But, like, I don't think full AP Udyr is as good this patch. I'm really struggling on it. I think it's something that was a 14.19 everybody getting health buffs, all the towers getting extra health. Like, there's a lot of things that have changed in the jungle, and I think it's harder for junglers to get off the ground with 1v5 playstyles. So, that is the update. Thank you for watching. Make sure if you want to catch me live, head over to twitch.tv/WilliekfnP. We will make sure to get you guys Udyr content live and all that good stuff. Subscribe to the YouTube if you want. We've got a YouTube editor coming. I'm excited for that, so we're going to have a lot more. We've already got daily content, but it's going to be much more strategically aligned content, so stay tuned for that as well. I will see you guys all later, and as always, thank you for watching. Bye.
Dang. Call me so I can make it juicy for ya.